everyone and welcome to my 2016 favorites, and this time I actually remembered to press the record button. So I've been halfway through the video until I realized, damn, I never actually pushed that red button. So here we go again, but a good thing was I already kind of talked myself through all the products, so hopefully that helps me to keep everything a little bit shorter. And the way I like to do those videos is to talk you through the products in the order I like to apply them, because that way I remember them all. And therefore I'm going to start with primers, and my favorite primer of the last year has been hands down the Becca Backlight priming filter, which as you can see is almost empty. So empty that I cannot pump anymore, but I have to unscrew the lid and kind of scoop it out. This primer is amazing for my skin tone. Well, not skin tone, skin type. I do have dry to dehydrated skin, and this product adds a little bit of extra moisture and it does add luminosity, and that is what my skin is lacking throughout the day. If I don't drink enough, which I never really do, my skin starts getting that gray tinge. However, not with this, which just makes your makeup look better for longer, which is why I love this stuff so much. In terms of foundation, there has been only one product I've been really loving throughout the whole year, and it's the IT Cosmetics CC Cream, which as you can see, I have both in the illumination version and in the normal version, both in the colors fair and light, so that I can wear it all year round because I love this stuff. It has pretty decent coverage. It has quite a lot of moisture in it, which my skin needs. It looks very natural, and this stuff just works for me. However, because the IT Cosmetics CC Cream is actually not a foundation but a CC Cream, I also decided to add my favorite foundation of last year to this video, and this has to be the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Water Foundation. Now this is a foundation which is very liquidy, very watery, what the name already says. However, it has a lot of pigment in it, but it's not very hydrating, I feel. But because I usually use the IT Cosmetics CC Cream as like a base, this is amazing to add a little bit of extra coverage to my skin on days where I need it. For example, on days like today where I want to film, or on days when I have something important going on in the office, etc, etc. So this has been lovely as well. Let's quickly move on to concealers. The first one, I don't even want to say too much about it, but I have to mention it because it is my all-time favorite concealer, and I've been loving it last year as well. And it's the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the color Vanilla. Amazing coverage. The color works very nicely for me all over the face. It's great for under the eyes, it covers up, and it's hydrating. However, it's not always the easiest to blend in. I actually discovered a product this year which is even better for under the eyes, but I'll get to that in a second. The second concealer I've been loving last year, and it's not a new product, but it's something I discovered for myself throughout the last year, and it's the Maybelline Eraser Dark Circles in the color Brightening. This is great for under the eyes. It's very moisturizing. It really brightens up your under eye area. It's like really great to apply and blend in. I've been loving this. The only disadvantage is, and that's actually why I'm having this little thing here, as you can see, the packaging or the writing is rubbing off, and you start having like little flecks on your fingers, and if you then try to pat in the concealer, it transfers onto like your under eye area, which is highly annoying. Plus, I'm not the biggest fan of the applicator, but it's a drugstore product and the product itself is amazing, so it's definitely worth the money, and you should definitely try it out. And last but not least, in terms of concealers, I've been discovering a new concealer last year, which is for the under eye area almost better than the NARS concealer. They're very similar in their qualities anyway, and it's the Too Faced Born This Way concealer, and I got the color Fair. It doesn't have quite as much coverage as the NARS concealer, but on the other hand, it's a bit more hydrating and therefore a little bit easier to blend in, which is definitely also an advantage. And this has been very, very impressive as well. Quickly, my powders, I don't want to say too much about them because actually in my haul video, which I'll link up above, I did talk a little bit more about them. My favorite powders of last year have been the Ambient lighting powders. I love this stuff. I usually mix dim light and ethereal light together because dim light on its own is a bit too dark for me. Loving them. And this one here, the third of the three I just showed you, is actually my favorite bronzer and contour product at the very same time. I do like matte contour products. However, sometimes, especially depending on what color they have, they sometimes do look a little bit too flat on my face. I actually prefer luminosity. I don't mind matte contour products, but I prefer something with more luminosity. And this one is just perfect. I'm actually not wearing it today because I had all of my stuff in a box here in the room. And when I was doing my makeup, I was too lazy to come over here and grab it. But this one has been my favorite bronzer and contour product of the last year, which is why I bought it in the full size as well. And that's Radiant Light by Hourglass, by the way. Quickly sticking with Hourglass products, I did treat myself to something just because I love Hourglass so much, and it is their Ambient Lighting Edit Palette in the Surreal edition. It comes with the Ambient Lighting Powder in Surreal Light, 2 blushes, a bronzer, and a strobe powder. I love the combination. I've been loving the blushes mixed together. I've been loving the Surreal Light, and this has just been a lovely, lovely palette. It wasn't cheap, but it's definitely worth the money if you like the Hourglass products. And I actually just looked on Sephora.com yesterday. It is still available. So get it while you still can, because I think it's limited edition. Let's move into eyes and eyeshadow specifically. And I'm going to start with 2 palettes I've been really, really liking. The first one, very, very hyped and now back in stock permanently, the Toothpaste Sweet Peach palette. It's been amazing in terms of colors. I specifically have been loving the pink shades, the peach shades. This has been basically my favorite all through the summer into fall. I think it's adorable to look at and it smells amazing, and I've been loving it, so I can definitely recommend it. And the other palette I've been using a lot at the beginning of the year was the Tartelette palette by Tarte. I also have the Tartelette in Bloom palette, but this one I've been using even more, specifically this color here, which doesn't almost have the logo anymore. So the color Natural Beauty all over the lid with some of the other colors in the crease. Been loving this, really, really nice base palette. This comes only with matte colors, and I think the Tartelette in Bloom palette has some shimmers in them as well. Now, the next product is also a palette, but I have actually only been loving one eyeshadow specifically, and that was basically the color I was wearing the first 4 months of the year. And I'm still in love, but because I got so many other palettes throughout the year, I haven't been using it for a while, but it's a shame because I really love the color. And it's one of the Urban Decay and Gwen Stefani collaboration palettes. And it's the color up here, so this one, which is called Steady. Basically, it's all that glitters with a bit more red in it. Loving it, but it's basically the only color I've been really using out of this. But all over the lid, it's been looking amazing. So that has been one of my favorite eyeshadows at the beginning of the year. And throughout the rest of the year, I also discovered some other single eyeshadow combinations. So my favorite cream eyeshadow, which I actually then repurchased, is Maybelline's Color Tattoo in the color On and On Bronze, or Bad to the Bronze, depending on where you're from. It's a lovely bronzy color, very nice base, like all over the lid, and then you use a powder eyeshadow to set it a little bit or to deepen the crease a little bit, but this has been absolutely lovely. And one of the colors I like to use this a lot with is the following, wait for it, Burberry's Rosewood and Burberry's Pale Barley. I cannot find Pale Barley for the life of me. I don't know where it ended up. This is Rosewood, very similar to Pale Barley, just Pale Barley is a little bit lighter. But this one all over the lid on top of the cream eyeshadow. It's a lovely combination for every day. It looks like you put an effort into your makeup, and it shows that you are wearing a little makeup but not too much, and you just look very natural and very pretty. So very happy about this one as well. And last but not least, in terms of eyeshadows, it's an eyeshadow which once again is in a palette, and it was from a collection Christmas, not 2015, but no, not 2016, but 2015, and it was in the big Tarte palette. But the one I've been loving came in this little kit which you could take out, which is this one here. And the color I have been loving is this one here, which is called Dancer and Prancer. I think you can really tell that I've been using it a lot. It's a lovely all over the lid color, and I've been loving it especially towards the end of the year. So this one I've been using non-stop basically since Freya was born, so since the middle of October. In terms of mascaras, there's been only one which I've been really liking, and that has been Benefit's Rollerlash. And this is actually the small one I got specifically for the hospital when I gave birth, because I knew I would be in the hospital for at least 5 to 6 days, and I just wanted to feel a little bit more like myself and take a little bit of makeup. So I've been using this. It comes with one of those plastic wands, which I actually prefer over natural bristles. My favorite mascara. I often get asked if I'm still using my lash serum, which I'm not. So this has been a favorite. In terms of eyebrow products, just very quickly, my favorite has been the Anastasia Brow Wiz in the color medium brown. I love this one. The only thing which is really annoying is it's the fourth pen I have, and it's the fourth time that the spoolie broke off, and this time the spoolie actually broke off very early, so that is highly annoying. I don't know what is up with that, but I don't like. And the other product I've been really liking is Benefit's Gimme Brow, which I just use on top of my Anastasia Brow Wiz. So we do have to hurry a little bit now because someone woke up from their nap and wants to be entertained, and she's in my lap right now. But let's move into cheek products real quick. I have been loving two different kinds of brands in terms of blushes last year. The first brand is Tarte. I love their blushes, and the color I finally got myself is Exposed, which I got last year in May, and it's a lovely everyday all over the cheek kind of color, you know, very low maintenance. You know, you just take a big fluffy brush and sweep it on the cheeks. Loving this. And another color from Tarte I've been really liking is actually the one from the palette I just showed you, because this one also has a highlight, a bronzer, and a Tarte in it, and a blush in it, and the color down here cannot point on it. This is the color Amazed, very similar to Exposed, just a little bit more pink. But those two have been two of my favorites. And the other brand which has been really impressing me throughout the last year, specifically for their cheek products, are Becca products. And here specifically the Becca Luminous blushes. I got a couple of them now, mainly in palettes. The one single one I have is the color Camellia, which is absolutely lovely. then I do have the color Snapdragon, which is the one where my pinky is pointing to, which is a bit more on the reddish side if you hold it up to Camellia. And then last but not least, I was finally able to grab the face palette when I was in Copenhagen, and in here is also one of the luminous blushes, and it's the one above my finger. So as promised to Freya just now, we are almost done. I have 2 more products here from the same brand. They are lip products. I didn't get a whole lot of lip products throughout the last year. I don't know why, but I was kind of over them. But the 2 products I've been loving are very hydrating products, and they're both from Clarins. So I've been loving the Instant Light Lip Balm Perfector in the color Rose, which is this one. This is basically a slightly tinted lip balm in stick form. And then obviously an all-time favorite of mine are the Clarins Instant Light Lip Perfectors. And I have those in 3 different colors. This is, I think, the color number 1. Which I'm wearing right now. My lips but better, with a bit more moisture and a bit more hydrated. Love this for dry lips, so this has been basically my favorite all year round. And I just repurchased some like this one and the color number 2 because I was out of them, and this one I never had, so I wanted to try it. And if you have dry and chapped lips, this one is amazing, and it's been a favorite of mine throughout 2016. So those were all of my favorite products of the last year. I did get a whole lot more products, also in terms of skincare, but also in terms of makeup. But a lot of the things I got also back like in the last quarter, and I haven't fully tried them. So it was kind of, it didn't feel right to show them as my yearly favorites. I hope this video wasn't too all over the place, especially now in the last couple of minutes. We are going to play now and maybe to feed, let's see, right, Freya P? And yeah, I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!